Nigel Farage has once again donned the costume of political showman, this time playing Robin Hood with a bank licence. His new flagship policy, a Britannia card for non-domiciled residents. For a mere £250,000 entry contribution, wealthy newcomers or exiles tempted back are offered a gilded exemption from taxes on foreign income and inheritance. The twist? All the money is earmarked for Britain's lowest paid workers in the form of an annual tax-free dividend. Farage describes this as a radical restoration of the social contract. Others might call it a pay-to-play patriotism. But, the bones of the proposal are fairly straightforward. Reform UK proposes reinstating the non-dom regime that Labour abolished in April, but unlike the opaque and often arbitrary system that preceded it, Farage claims his version is transparent, fixed and redistributive. A £250,000 upfront fee, no tax or offshore income or gains, no inheritance tax for 20 years, and the payment is renewed every 10 years. Crucially, the fee is directly redistributed, £600 to £1,000 annually, to around 2.5 million of Britain's lowest paid full-time workers. Not so much a golden visa as a platinum tax break wrapped in a populist flourish. There is a coherent economic concern driving this. Britain has lost thousands of non-doms in recent years. Since 2015, numbers have fallen from over 120,000 to below 80,000, and Labour's recent reforms have triggered what some call an exodus of tycoons, hedge fund managers and global investors, and not without consequence. Oxford Economics estimates that non-doms injected over £8.4 billion into the UK economy, averaging £118 million each. If true, Labour's reform may well cost us more than it raises. Farage sees opportunity in that failure. Bring the rich back, make them pay for entry, not in loopholes but in cash, and then make that cash flow visibly to the working class. It's superficially clever, it's almost brilliant. The city pay to avoid taxes. The poor are given direct cash. Everyone wins, or do they? So looking at this, is it just John Locke, whose name is I like John Locke. He might have admired the simplicity, property as the fruit of labour, consent as the foundation of taxation, but Locke also argued that governments exist to protect the rights of all, not to auction them off. What Farage proposes is less social contract and more tax contract, individualised, transactional and utterly commodified. Britain, in this view, becomes a service economy for the ultra-rich and the working class, its reluctant shareholders. The poor are not empowered, they're paid off. This is not quite equality, this is patronage with a pound sign. And we shouldn't forget, the policy depends on voluntary uptake by a small elite. It assumes continued demand for British residency despite rising global alternatives. It risks embedding a two-tier tax system, one for those who can afford entry, one for those who are born within the walls. And then there's the logistics. Who monitors this scheme? What enforcement ensures that £250,000 is not simply offset by creative accounting elsewhere? What happens in year 11 when the renewal is due and the wealthy quietly disappear again? It's not a tax system, it's a concierge service. And perhaps the greatest irony is political. This is a populist party asking billionaires to return for tax privileges and expecting the working class to applaud. It's the sort of move that might be made by a technocratic liberal party in Singapore or Dubai, not by the man who once made his name railing against the metropolitan elite and the foreign interference. But Farage is nothing if not the master of repackaging contradiction as courage. He's now proposing wealth redistribution without socialism, migration incentives without immigration, and class solidarity funded by private jets. To some this looks like vision, to others it's desperation. This is not Robin Hood. This is Renaissance Venice, a republic selling citizenship to fund its wars. It's clever politics wrapped in the illusion of moral clarity, but it is not a solution to national decline. It's a distraction from it. A nation that has to bribe the rich to return and tip the poor to tolerate it is not a nation building a new contract. It's admitting that the old one is broken. And that, I fear, is Farage's real legacy, not revolution, but resignation.